to the man on the street.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you a shocking news report. Tragedy has struck the quiet town of Glensdale, where a family of 5 known as the Harrisons has met a brutal end. A police report is still being conducted on the whole incident, but here are the details we currently have. A Mrs. Angela Harrison has committed homicide of her 3 children and attempted homicide of her husband, Robert Harrison. Currently, Mrs. Harrison is in police custody, however, she is in a completely catatonic state and is otherwise unresponsive to questioning. And Mr. Harrison is currently under intensive medical care from what appears to be an axe wound in his left arm. Mr. Harrison is also appearing to be in the same catatonic state as Mrs. Harrison, and the medical staff on hand are unsure if this is caused from shock or blood loss or some other third thing, due to Mr. Harrison receiving a blood transfusion and still being unresponsive. However, we do still have the in-progress police report to document what has transpired, although we must advise viewer discretion as the contents of the report are very, very graphic. The report begins at 8:14, with a call from Mr. Harrison where he sounds to be in pain and he states, "She killed them! Our own fucking children! And now she's coming after me! Please send any fucking officers you can over now! I don't want to die!" It's also noted that in the call, it sounds as if Mr. Harrison is running. At 8:20, police arrive on the scene. The first 2 things they notice are all the lights are on at the Harrison residence, and Mrs. Harrison is standing in front of a shed near the house with an axe in hand. The officers approach Mrs. Harrison, ordering her to drop the axe, but she does not reply. In fact, she doesn't do anything at all, as one of the officers states she was in a trance almost. Upon careful examination of Mrs. Harrison, it appears she is covered in blood and sinew. The axe she was carrying also had what appeared to be fresh blood on it. At 8:23, police apprehended Angela Harrison, who put up no resistance while being detained. At 8:24, police find Robert Harrison inside the shed Mrs. Harrison was standing in front of. Mr. Harrison was found slouched in the shed unconscious with a major laceration in his left arm. Thankfully and surprisingly, Mr. Harrison still had a pulse despite the massive trauma and blood loss he had sustained. At 8:26, a paramedic team is called. One officer remains with Mr. Harrison to help him maintain his condition, while all other officers enter the Harrison residence. And at 8:27, police enter the Harrison household to find a horrific sight. The walls of the house had been stained with blood. Many objects around the house had either been broken or destroyed. There was, however, a centerpiece to this madness, which one of the officers stated it was one of the most horrific and disturbing things I've ever seen on the force. In the center of the living room were 3 suspended heads, all being held up by wire from a ceiling fan. And these severed heads have been confirmed to be the 3 children of Mr. and Mrs. Harrison. The heads were suspended via wire and fishhook through the eyelids, as it seems the eyes themselves had been removed from the socket. And stranger more is that, as of the current police report, the bodies of the deceased have not been found. The heads also appear to be hung in a particular order over what appears to be an unidentified symbol made in what is presumably the children's blood. As of the current moment, there is no explanation or reason for this horrendous act of murder. The police are ruling out Mr. Harrison as he was working late at a local gas station, and there are a handful of witnesses confirming this, saying that he had only left a solid 10 minutes ago before the phone call was ever even called in. And as for Mrs. Harrison, police are still scratching their heads as she remains unresponsive, and anonymous testimony states she had never shown this kind of behavior or violence before. However, one strange piece of this puzzle also remains. The police apparently found a radio that was buzzing static at max volume in the house. The officers who were exposed to the radio reported that the static almost sounded like it was talking to them. The radio was actually tuned into a station which has been confirmed to be
touch that dial, folks. We got all all your favorites coming right up. A lot of scary things have been happening out there. But that's okay, we want to keep you safe. Remember, you can't trust anyone nowadays, so make sure you lock your doors and board your windows so nobody can get in or out. Make sure you get something to defend yourself with. You never know when those supposed loved ones will try something. Keep it in mind, it's only self-defense if they attack first. Send us a message if our advice helped. If you don't remember, we'll show you how!
Nevertheless, we hope this is the last tragic event we will see here in Vermont for a long, long time. That concludes this emergency report. We're here at the studio, hoping you stay safe, Vermont. And now, back to those tunes that you love.